Hello and welcome to the series finale of Getting Your Rocks Off with Firetox. I said I wasn't going to do it, and then I did it. So we might as well go out with a bang. Today's episode doesn't fit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to readjust some camera angles. Best I can do. This is the only combining Rock Lord set that they ever made. This is Fossil Saurus. So let's take a look at the box. At the box, it showcases all four of the Rock Lord Fossil Saurus is made of. On the box, you'll also see he's got his armor pieces, some side weaponry. Weaponry for all four of the pieces that create Fossil Saurus. On the side, it shows you Fossil Saurus with all four of the robots that create Fossil Saurus. Again on the back, Fossil Saurus in all of his glory with all of the bots that make him up. Same thing on this side. I don't know what any of the writing says. I can't believe I got this thing. Alright, let's get him out of the box. This is how Fossil Saurus comes packaged. You will notice there's an empty spot here and an empty spot here. The empty spot here is for the big side gun. I did not get one with the big side gun. This up here is where the little pellets that the big side gun would fire would be. But considering to get in this good of condition and have the gun and the pellets, you're looking at $1,000 or more. I'm grateful I have this. And you'll see that all of the pieces are packaged in how they will assemble. So the tail is here, legs, torso, head. Along with their individual weapons in gold plastic. I'm not touching them. They are not coming out of the box. I usually don't care about Rock Lord weapons. Those are all made of gold plastic. They're not being touched. We do have all of the armor pieces. All of them. That one got twisted around, didn't it? These are all molded in silver plastic. As well as the smaller side gun. Let's take a look. First part we'll be taking a look at is tailbone. Now, I can't really show you what a rock looks like. These don't turn into a rock. So this is what tailbone looks like in his robot mode. The tail part, it just kind of hangs off. He has no articulation in these arms. They do, but they don't like fold up. It's not a comfortable move. And as much as this thing was, I don't want to break it. He's got some he's got some silver paint right here, and then he's got his gold eyes and his silver teeth on that beautiful mug right there, because he just looks crazy. He looks like he has been dragging behind Fossil Saurus for years, and he is sick of being dragged around, and he's just nuts. To turn him into the tailpiece, flip his head back, fold this piece up, move this out of the way, take the legs, fold those up, take this tail piece, just like that. Next, we have hip bone. Hip bone here, you can see the legs. He is a weird looking dude, and he looks about as insane as the rest of them with that big bloody toothy grin and those yellow eyes. No other paint to speak of, articulation wise. This kind of goes in and out. It rotates. There's no hand. That doesn't change. You do get it again. Some of this, you'll start noticing some of this has more to do with the combined mode. But you do have these hips that I have dropped down like this. And he does have a bend in his knee, and there actually is ankle articulation. Oh, I don't want to snap it though. You know what? I'm just not even going to do it. And what this does is when you combine him, these slide up like this. And this takes us into, we will go ahead and transform him into the component for Fossil Saurus, which is actually kind of neat. You flip this piece up, you rotate that around, and you push it in. You rotate that one around, and you push it in. You fold down the flap. There's hip bone. Next we have rib cage. Rib cage, he's kind of stocky. Got articulation here. The only paint applications on him are those two creepy yellow eyes. He does have working legs. Does not have knees. They fold in and out like this. You can move the toes and you can rotate them because you'll see what they become. Rib cage. Transformation for rib cage. Flip the arms around. Or, wait, no, sorry. Fold the arms back. This entire piece is going to slide up inside of there. And then you're going to rotate these around. Close the hands. Rotate these around. Close the hands. Rib cage. For the final component to Fossil Saurus, we have jawbone. Jawbone has articulation. This does rotate. He does have more paint apps than the other ones because he does have his eyes. He does have his teeth. And if you look at the face, he does look like the leader. With these little spikes on top of his head and those red eyes. A little light gives you a little bit better. So. Things I don't like about him is because of the transformation, and I'll show you this, these hips scare the shit out of me. Just absolutely. So to transform this into the head, fold that down. Rotate these down. Now if you look right here, this is all metal. But it's old metal. And it's tight. Like it's scary tight. You have to rotate it, and that's connected, so they rotate together. Focus. And then you have to... This one flattens out pretty easily. This one doesn't, and it scares me every time I do it. But you have to do it. You want those to be basically together like that. Then, you're going to collapse everything up inside of it like this. Well, that gives you Fossil Saurus's head, jawbone, in head mode. The only mode that matters. Alright, let's put them together. Hip bone. Slide the legs up, lock them in place. Tailbone. These two here, plug in here. Rib cage. Rib cage locks in here. Jawbone. Jawbone, you have to be a little bit careful with. You'll see why. Jawbone, if you look at the back of rib cage, the robot hands are like this. Jawbone locks into place here. Rib cage's hands peg into the back. Jawbone's hands click into place here. Make sure everything is in place so it doesn't fall over. And here you have the main components to Fossil Saurus in place. Let's add the armor. And now the armor. Shin guards go here. The hip armor, pop that bag off, goes here. Shoulder armor. Shoulder armor. Now the coolest part is the belt. Belt comes in two pieces. The first part, put here. The second part, you line up. I have it backwards again. I think I have it backwards again. Locks in place here. From this point, you can take the one side gun, put it there, and that will also keep this from coming apart. And last but not least, the horn armor. And this is the fully armored, except for the gun that I don't have, Fossil Saurus. Fossil Saurus. Next to Boulder. Not even a fair size comparison. As far as articulation goes, you do have knee bend, but it does lock into place. You can move these, but when you have him fully up, if you look how this is made, it pegs in. Now, if you want him to lean forward, you can always turn it like this. But I usually have him like this. The arms do rotate. The hands rotate. The hands open. The mouth does not move. And there you have the final piece of my collection, Fossil Saurus. So, have you ever done a thing and then you did another thing? Like, you needed to complete something. So what had happened was, there was a piece missing from this one. A piece I could not find by itself. The only way I could get the piece that I needed was to buy another one. So the only things he comes with is these two pieces of armor, and the Jawbone figure is missing the robot's head. But I needed one piece of this to complete him. So this one I will probably sell. Each of these figures goes for, I've seen them 100 and something, I've seen them $200. The armor itself is upwards of like $50 a piece sometimes. So I don't really want to part it out, so I will probably actually end up putting him on my Etsy page to sell. I'm going to take a loss at $250. But I think that's a fair price. The rarity, even if you just needed parts of him, if you had this one in good condition, you just needed these two, or they broke, these three, I mean, then I think I'm going to put this one on my Etsy store to try to recoup some of the cost, because I'm well over $1,000 in these at this point. And I need to recoup a little bit. So let's get him out of the way. Let's take a look at this armor. The sculpted detail on the armor, I'm trying to get the lights good enough to see it, but it's, you know, it's silver. The sculpted detail on the armor is really good. The plastic of the armor is strange. It almost feels so smooth it's soft. It almost feels oily. The gun here is in excellent condition. I love the little turbine right here inside of here. Like it's taking so much power to run this thing. This is where the big gun would attach. Comes around here. It sits inside of this. It pops right in when you do it. And look at the detail on this. You've got the spine going right here with the ribs. The tail has the tail spines. Comes all the way there. You've got the double set of spines going up the head like it's double to single to single to double again. Looks really, really cool and interesting. You've got these beautifully painted yellow eyes. You've also got nostrils that you can actually see all the way through them. Unfortunately, the mouth doesn't open. I really wish this mouth opened, but it does not. You've got almost what looks like lungs right here. Some of this is things that you would have noticed when I was looking at him in robot mode. So, let me grab something that you may know so that we can have a fair comparison. So here he is next to Legacy Menasor. So he's not huge, but considering he was probably, I don't have any G1 combiners, he was probably bigger than a G1 combiner. I'm assuming. I don't remember how big they were. Some of them were bigger than others, so scale goes out the window. But this thing is fantastic. Move my Menasor out of the way. I couldn't think of a better way to end this series, and I want to thank everybody so much who's been following this series for as long as I've been doing it, with the gaps in between the seasons. I hope everybody enjoyed the seasonal format. I hope everybody enjoyed the soundtrack that was specific, picked out just to make this as inappropriate as possible, because it was funny, goddammit. And I had a blast doing this. I love my Rock Lords collection. I'm so glad that I could show everyone how fantastic these figures were. It's always unfortunate when a line dies and it never really reached its peak. There was an unreleased base that would have come out, never came out, if I ever find one, if they ever made any, other than what I've seen in magazine clippings. I'm going to get it, if I don't someday make it myself. But I love these figures. I love the crazy idea of their transforming rocks, and now fossils and gems and the gnarlies and all of it. And I'm so glad and so grateful for everyone who's followed along with this series. I'm sorry for it to end, but they only made so many. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Look out for more weird things that I may find in the future. And thank you for always coming by to get your rocks off with Firetox.